What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Tiger Claw Radio. I'm your host, Critical Failure. We got, so excited for this one. I've been enjoying the mystery track thing that we've been up to in the past couple. Hey, what's going on? Junior's joining us for this one. Mystery track thing that's been going on the last couple of episodes. We did sort of a Game Boy deal. I have a bit of an obscurity, okay? A bit of an obscurity. I think at least a good half of you will get this one. And the idea that I had was, I'm going to play several tracks from this one game, and at the end of the show, we will compare notes and see if we can figure out what it was. All right, track 1 from the mystery game here on Tiger Claw Radio. Stick with us. Let me know what you think. A little bit of trivia on that track. That one, I heard that one. Yeah, I first heard that one on the front page of RetroWare TV back in 2010. RetroWare TV used to have like a sort of a classic games jukebox thing that they put out every once in a while. This is like way back, and I had never played this game at that point. And there was the track, and I heard the track in the playlist, and not having played the game, I was like, whoa, man, that is killer. And that's the first time I heard it. Okay, so speaking of the internet, I've been keeping my eye open on the Steam main page. You guys know I'm big into Steam. I like my video games via PC, and the Steam Summer Sale is on its way. Been big into Saints Row, talk about it a little bit every week. I want to get one of the Saints Row games in the Steam sales, and I believe it's supposed to start next week, though I'm not sure. Keeping my eyes peeled for that. Just wrapped up the GOG summer sale this past week. I got one game off of it, which is fun, and we'll see how it goes. So what I've actually been spending my time on this past week, of course, apart from Saints Row, has been scary movies. Video games and scary movies, just a little bit every week. I don't dig too much into the scary movies here on the air, because this is more of a video game thing. But I saw Phantasm for the first time. You guys ever seen Phantasm? I was familiar with what that movie was. Old movie from. See, most of the great scary movies that I've been watching lately have all been from the 80s. Like the 80s had like a big boom in like practical scary movie makeup effects. This was one of only a couple movies I can think of that really captured my imagination from the 70s. It's like this movie and then like the original Halloween, and that's really it. Everything else came out in the 80s. Yeah, so I remember it from seeing pictures of the tall man and the metal ball of death, and I think Phantasm 2 was on network television when I was a kid. So finally going back and watching Phantasm, finally for the first time, was a good time. Weird movie, man. Weird movie. I saw Phantasm and I saw The Reanimator. which was, whoa, that was like, the Reanimator was a crazy, like, gory, scary movie, but it also had like a really good story, which is like the reason why I kind of tipped over and got into the scary movies. It's because a lot of really great stories that I hadn't had the chance to enjoy. So I'm not going to bother giving this is my in-depth movie review. No, none of that stuff. But the Reanimator was super cool, and Phantasm was super cool. Looking forward to watching Phantasm 2 and seeing if I remember any of it from when I was a kid, watching it on network television. See if I have anything else. Anything else on my oh yeah, the 1980s version of The Blob, also on my to watch list. They Live, right? I know who Roddy Piper is. I know I'm here to kick ass and chew gum, and I'm all out of gum. That's from They Live, but I've never actually seen the movie. Night of the Creeps, also on my watch list. Scanners, is that it? And the Maniac Cop trilogy. Those are all the movies I want to watch in the coming weeks. Quite a few. So will I actually get to watch any of those? Actually, yeah. It's been like a movie or two a week. That's not bad. I think that's like a regular person intake of movies, which has been cool. That and oh man, it would be really nice to play some PS1. Play some of my I don't have many import PS1 games, but they are really awesome, and I am definitely reeling from the loss of all of my Japanese PS1 games purchased at cut rate prices. And the sales were all canceled, and all the money was refunded, and it never be shown up. Still kind of bummed about that. Maybe I'll let a little bit more time pass. Maybe I'll order something else. I don't know. But here's a game that I revisited this past week. Hadn't played in a while. How many of you guys are familiar with the game Sanctum? You ever played that? I don't know exactly when it came out, but it's one of the games I got early on in the time I've been on Steam. So probably like 7 or 8 years ago. It's a first-person shooter tower defense game. And I revisited it because my kids really like tower defense. And yes, it's a first-person shooter, but it's not. There's no blood. It's not gory at all. All the weapons are like laser weapons, and there's like kind of big, cartoony sort of monsters. It's a cool-looking game, but it's one of the first-person shooters I think that are a little bit less crazy violent. It's just whatever. Yeah, so I played some Sanctum. And it's funny, I never got huge into that game, but I have come back and revisited it like a couple of times throughout the years, and every time I come back and play it, it's always the same. I'm like, wow, this game is so good. I forgot how good Sanctum is. You lay out your defenses, you have like the building phase, where you're setting up towers, and you have to set up the towers in a maze so that the monsters have a long way to go. And then when they actually start coming, the wave starts, it snaps to a first-person shooter, and then you can actually shoot at the monsters, and it's multiplayer, and you can have a great time. Oh my gosh, Sanctum is so good. I always think that whenever I go back and play it, but I only actually end up playing it for just a few minutes, or maybe an hour, and then I don't come back to it. So who knows? I'm looking forward to playing Sanctum again in another 3 years. But if that's the case, then that's fine. I had a good time with it when I played it. It's an old one, so whenever the Steam sales happen, swing by and pick yourself up a copy. I'm sure you can get it dirt cheap. But yeah, that's one that still has my recommendation after all these years. You know, I never finished Doom 64 either. You guys remember when I bought Doom 64? I never buy games full price on Steam. It's just not something I do. But I bought Doom 64 full price. They wanted $5 for it. Came out in tandem with the release of Doom Eternal, whatever the new Doom game is. I'm not worried about that new stuff. Not really worried about the new Doom game. But I had never played Doom 64. And it was awesome to play with a mouse and keyboard. Good game. It's not perfect. But it was fun when I played of it. Got lost a few times. Found my way out. Kept it moving. I feel like I could really stick in and beat it. Let's see how much time I actually put into Doom 64. At the risk of taking the time to look up something that no one else is going to be interested in but me. But that's the thing. I'm never really sure what people are going to find interesting or not at all interesting. So let's see. Doom. Nope. Not Doom, just Doom once. Doom 64. Oh man, I love it. I love typing in Doom in the search window of my Steam library and seeing all the results. Because I've got the Doom roguelike I have rigged up to be in there as well. So that alongside the couple of Doom 3s and the master levels for Doom 2 just makes me feel good. Doom 64's got 2 hours. Wow, I thought it was more than 2 hours. But no, that's it. That's all I got. What do we got? I see some familiar bros adding it to their wish list. Don't want to name any names, but I'm totally gonna name names. Shintai added it to his wish list. Come on, Shintai, get yourself a copy of Doom 64. You can check out all those rare, expensive animes. We can cough up $5 for Doom 64. Somebody drop a 5 spot and get Doom 64 for our good buddy Shintai. Lest we forget. Though it's been years, he was around for some of the greatest times, so he'll always be one of us. Shintai, if you're out there, I hope you're watching the best animes, and I raise my cup of Trader Joe's black tea to you, sir. I'm hearing talking. You doing okay out there, kiddo?
Yeah.
It's not locked, is it? Oh, you're on the floor behind me. I thought you were out in the hallway.
Open your eyes next time.
You're literally under my chair.
Actually, I am behind your chair on the floor.
Okay, so behind it in addition to under it.
Have you no spatial skills?
Well, when I sit, look how I sit. I face this way, and you're here. You also opened and shut the door, which made me think you were walking out. But hey, that's okay. I just realized I don't have a pillow in this office. I should get a pillow in here.
Yeah. I want to beat you in a pillow fight sometime soon. You know that?
Can I have a pillow fight?
Yes.
You can do that.
Winner gets free game time.
Winner gets free game time. Sounds like a deal. You know I'm going to have to wreck you with a pillow then, right?
Yes.
Because that means I'll be able to play Saints Row a little bit more.
No, you won't.
So wait a second. Do you have to be around for the game time? I have to figure out if the game I play is a game where I can chainsaw people or not.
I do not have to be around.
Oh, well, then it's on. Get me a pillow. Get me the biggest pillow you can find.
But you realize if you lose...
That's true. What was I talking about again? Oh, yeah. We're 13 minutes in. Why don't we play another track from the mystery game? Right here on Tiger Club Radio, everybody. This is Game's Mystery Game. Listen to the track. Think about it. Use your knowledge. Consult your kidneys and see if you can come up with the title. We'll compare notes at the end of the show. Stick with us. You're listening to Tiger Claw Radio. What do you think, boys and girls? Have you played that game enough to know it? I gotta say, I got that one in my collection. I've played it a handful of times. It's not bad. It's a better soundtrack than it is a game, but it's a good game nonetheless. All right, so that's track 2, and I believe that's from a cutscene, as you can hear the nice lady saying words towards the end there. Okay, so you think about it, and in the meantime, I'm going to take a second to thank the sponsors. This is a Patreon-sponsored program. These guys, regular people like you and me, they give of their resources at a time when resources are very few and far between. And you have to be careful with your money. And these people are rising to to the challenge to make sure TCR stays on the air. So to them, I offer early access to the show. As soon as it gets done, I put it up so that they can listen and enjoy and hang out with us. And I also read their names off in somewhat of a hall of a distinguished gentleman, like I like to say here on the show. And for some reason, the thing is escaping me now. Why is it not here? There it is. Golly, that's never happened before. They are Hemrock, Sendu, Tecmo Balls, Darabka, Konstantin Kelman, and Eric Controller. Seriously, boys and girls, thank you so much for supporting, and I hope you guys are enjoying the party.
Thank you so much. Very appreciated. For my dad.
Yes, indeed. All right. Let's see. So we did the track. We did some Steam talk. We talked some scary movies. Let's see. I think there was some MS-DOS stuff I wanted to cover. Let me jump to the message forums. And I'll come back in just a second here. Oh, right. Well, I'm scraping the barrel, thinking about what else is going on. How about this Billy Mitchell character? Do you know who this is?
Hard no.
You can just say. You don't have to lean forward. Okay, so this guy was, for a long time, he was considered the greatest video game player of all time. He had the world record for Donkey Kong, and then a couple other things. And then at one point there was a movie about him battling over the world record for Donkey Kong with somebody else who won it over top of him. Okay, so back and forth, arguably one of the biggest video game high score holders. Okay, a couple years ago came out that he was cheating. Yep. And he was by the way, in the movie that came out that he was in, he wasn't painted as a very nice guy. Not saying he's a bad guy. He just was kind of mean and kind of farty, and it made him look really bad. But anyway, Billy Mitchell, that's who we're talking about. Apparently, his high scores, they're still valid in the Guinness Book of World Records. Now, I can't remember exactly how it's worded, but this is a thing that just happened. Guinness did not find sufficient evidence to remove his scores from the record holders. So I guess anybody can do anything in Guinness Book of World Records? You have an old Guinness Book of World Records. Does Billy Mitchell's name appear in that book?
How should I know? Do you expect me to look very carefully through the whole thing?
It's in the video games part. I thought you would have looked at that. Isn't there a video game section in the Guinness Book of World Records?
Yes, there is, but that's only one page, and there's probably a lot of video game world records.
Do you know where that is? Do you have that book handy?
Yes.
All right, you want to go get it?
No.
That is unfortunate. All right. Yeah, so Billy Mitchell. I don't know, man. I'm not a huge fan, but I totally got taken in by the King of Kong movie. I got totally taken in by that. It's yeah, they played bad music while he was around. And he wasn't nice to that other guy. Big thumbs down, man. But whatever. I just love the part. There's one part where he's like, people always ask me what my handle is, what my initials are when I put in the high score. You need to look harder. You're not looking hard enough. It's USA. That is a crazy person. Yeah, King of Kong. That's a good video game movie. You might like that. It's kind of moot now because the whole point of the movie is they battle over the high score, the world record high score. But since that movie came out, the world record has changed hands a bunch of times. So it's a great movie, but at the end of it, it's it doesn't really mean anything anymore. Any interest?
You can probably tell by my reaction, my non-existent reaction.
I can't tell anything by your reaction at all, ever.
Well, if you were observant, you would know that me not even seeming to care would mean that I don't care. In other words, I don't think that would be a good movie.
All right.
And he pushes my face with his hand.
I did that.
In a weird way.
I did that in a weird way. Can't believe you're not interested in the King of Kong. Have you ever played Donkey Kong? you know what Donkey Kong is?
No.
Oh my gosh. Do you know what Donkey Kong Country is? The big monkey and he collects all the bananas. I bet you've seen Donkey Kong at one point. It's the one where you like you play as like an early version of Mario back when his name was Jumpman before Super Mario Brothers, and he would go up the girders like this and he would get a hammer and smash the barrels. And then there's a big monkey on the top. You've never seen this game. Come on, if I show you a picture of it, you'll recognize Donkey Kong. This is breaking my heart here. He knows about cassette tapes. He knows what an 8-track is. He knows what else you know. A lot of old stuff.
A lot of math.
You know a lot of math. You've watched movies on VHS tape, but
I don't think I've watched movies on a VHS tape.
You have, but it's been a while. I guess it's been a while since we've done that. All right, so this is Donkey Kong the character, but I want to show you like the actual game. Yeah, here we go. Arcade. Dun 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 dun. You never seen this before? Wreck-It Ralph was a big parody of this.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. All right, well that's Donkey Kong. It's a good game. You should try it sometime.
And it's Donkey Kong and the Donkey Bombed.
Look at this. This is like before Game Boy or any of that stuff. So we have the Google image search open to Donkey Kong so you can see what it looks like. And one of the things that we're looking at is the 1982 vintage electronic tabletop Donkey Kong. This was before modern handheld games at all. So this was all done with actual LED lights like the ones we worked on the breadboard. Remember how we were wiring up individual LED lights? It's a matrix of LED lights in different colors, and that's how you play the game. It's just the individual LED lights light up, and that's how it simulates movement because it's really old. But it's super cool the way they did it. It's like a video game with almost no computer hardware in it. It's just all done with chips and hard wiring and the old-fashioned way. Really awesome stuff. All right, here, let me have that. This is, yeah, see, that's the guy. That's Billy Mitchell right there. I think this is an article about him cheating, too. Arcade fame turns to infamy.
I want to see it.
Let's see. I'm loading it up right now. Stick with us. This is a CF Googling stuff. Okay, so this article is from 2018, so a couple years old by now. The record-setting score that settled Donkey Kong arcade rivalry, made famous by the documentary The King of Kong, has been invalidated by Twin Galaxies. You know what Twin Galaxies is?
No.
Twin Galaxies was for a long time the source for world records in video games. If you liked a video game, like, I don't know, Contra or something, you'd look it up in Twin Galaxies, it would show you what the world record is. That's what it was. That's not the case anymore because now they charge money for you to submit a score. So there are people who are better than what's on Twin Galaxies, but they're not going to pay to submit. So it's weird. It's weirdly moot now. But at the time when the movie came out, Twin Galaxies was it. If you had your name in those record books, then you were in video game history. The de facto arbiter of arcade world records. Not true anymore. What's more, Billy Mitchell, the occasionally controversial player who set it and other record-breaking scores, has been permanently banned from consideration for future records. So not only did they boot his record, but they actually flushed his entire career out. He can't play anymore.
He can't even play if it's not to set records?
I guess, but he can't play officially. So what they would do is they would take a video camera and they would point it at their TV or at an arcade machine, depending on the game, and they would film camera on TV. That's what this is a picture of. See this? This is the screen, but you can see the curvature because it's not like a digital feed. It's an actual camera pointed at it. And they would externally film their world record runs, and then they would mail in the tapes, and that's how they took care of records. Twin Galaxies predates the internet. So it's been around a long time. So especially for these old guys, these old arcade guys, that's like the mecca, the high score mecca. I kind of stopped going to that website. Twin Galaxies was never a thing that I was super into because I liked these old record, like high score based games. And you'd look up a game like Donkey Kong, and it's like, hey man, you like playing Donkey Kong? You got a high score of 10,000 points? That's great. The actual high score is 1,000,000,000,000 points. Go home, son. So yeah, I didn't. I was never much of a fan of the Twin Galaxies. Our good buddy Jerry Terrifying was in Twin Galaxies. I know you don't know that guy, but he's a friend of ours for a long time.
He must be pretty terrifying.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He had I don't know if he still has it or not, but he had the world record in Ninja Golf on the Atari 7800. It was the kind of deal where, like, he picked out a game that was an obscurity, but it was still a fun game, and he just got really good at it and submitted a score. Somebody eventually beat him, I think, but I don't know if he's taking it back or not. Jerry, if you're out there, what's the status on Ninja Golf? Did you ever retake your ninja crown? I know I never got on that website. Who else was in there? Somebody else we know. Dinky Dana. Dinky Dana, who used to be on, what was the podcast he used to do? Dinky Dana used to do a podcast with Mamecade and Vintage Video Game Geek before he started his show with the NES Complex. I think it was Hit Reset Radio. And Dinky Dana had the Contra high score for a while. Years ago. I don't know if he still has it. But, yeah, that's cool stuff. These guys did the VHS tapes and they filmed. Oh, and by the way, they stuck with the VHS policy for years. People had cameras on their phones. They were like, no, we want a VHS tape, son. You gotta dig up an 8mm camera and record it on actual ribbon tape. And that's what you send in. Okay. That's Twin Galaxies. It's weird, man. All right. We're 27 minutes in. I have one more track from our mystery game. How many tracks do I have left from our mystery game?
Duh.
Wrong! Let's play it.
Once.
See what you think.
Duh.
This is your last chance, boys and girls. Buckle up. Let's see if we can find that mystery game. It's burning my son because he knows the answer and he wants to tell you. This is the game. This is my hint, boys and girls. We're looking at the listing on GOG.com, which I've had in my collection for years, but I think I've only loaded it up like a couple of times. What do you think based on the screenshots? We're looking at early polygonal 3D, or early PC 3D rendering. What do you think? Think you'd give it a try?
Absolutely not.
That is unfortunate. Release date, February 28th, 1998 from Activision. Weighing in at 596 megabytes. This is Interstate 76. Yes, Interstate 76, which I bought hoping it would be like Vigilante 8.
Interstate 76, Interstate 76, Interstate 76, whatever.
I was hoping this was going to be like Vigilante 8. Vigilante 8 we've played together. That's a good game. This game looks good. Well, it looks old, but it looks good and it sounds good. But it is not as engaging as the PS1 era car combat games that we got. Once you finally find the cars, you shoot them a couple times and they just explode. The cars that you drive are really weird, and they have it's not nearly as solid. It's not as solid as the PS1 car combat games. Now the PS1 car combat games, I remember them fondly, but if you go back and play them now, yikes, they were hard to control, and this is worse. It's a charming game. It is a very charming game. But I really don't think, unless you played it when you were just the right age, if you go back and play Interstate 76 now for the first time, I don't think it's going to hold water. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody tell me I'm wrong because I'd like to be.
You're wrong.
People say there's a sequel, Interstate 82. They say the sequel was even worse. Like, Interstate 76 is a beloved game. People really enjoy it. See, if you look at the rating, 4.4 out of 5. right? The people who buy this, who remembered it and went back and bought it, are generally pretty happy with it. But that's not the case with the sequel, Interstate 82, which is sad because the sequel, like the screenshots, the rendering looks a lot better in the sequel. So I don't know, maybe they just messed it up so it wasn't as fun. But I never even bothered to buy this one. $5. What do you think? Interstate 82? 1999. How long did we wait for Interstate 82? The original one came out in 98. Interstate 82 came out a year later. That's not too bad. It's smaller. That's 1999 though. We already had like Resident Evil. We already had Quake. We already had Tomb Raider. We already had Twisted Metal 2 by that time. Golly. Wow, I thought it was before Twisted Metal 2. It's not at all. Wow, that kind of blows my mind a little bit. Did any of you guys play Interstate 76 prior to like the internet digital distribution boom? Like even if you didn't play it back when it was new, did you guys ever come across like a cheap CD at a thrift store or something like that? Because I didn't. I never saw either of these games in any of the thrift stores. And there's been a lot of weird games over the years that have shown up CD-ROM in the thrift stores. I got a copy of Typing of the Dead for the computer at the thrift store.
Why?
It's a good game. I bought it for like $1.50 or $2 or something, and I sold it for $20 on the internet. Somebody bought it. He's speechless. He's got nothing. He's trying.
I feel sorry for whoever did that. One, buying the game. One, giving this guy more money than he deserves. And two, buying it from this guy. Really?
Okay. It's forgivable if you want to talk trash about certain games, but Typing of the Dead, come on now. This is sacred ground.
It is not.
The Sims 4 is on Steam finally. I can buy it a second time. No thanks. Well, they really are bringing all these old EA games onto Steam. They must have bombed really hard with that with Origin. That's kind of shocking. Battlefield 3 is on Steam now. Command and Conquer remake is still around. Mass Effect 3. People say that game was terrible. These Mass Effect games, probably around 2010, before number 3 came out, number 1 and number 2, these were like the most popular games ever. People would not stop talking about these games. Especially Mass Effect 2. I was listening to a lot of podcasts in that time. And I would listen to a podcast, and every week played Mass Effect 2. Yeah, playing through it again, making these different choices. I played through it again and doing this, that, or the other. People loved these two games. And then when this one came out, number 3, all of that hype just it all disappeared overnight because everyone hated this game so much. I never really played any of them. I played I have these first 2 in my library and Steam, and I played the first one, I don't know, maybe like an hour, but it didn't stick with me. A lot of Rudy Tooty point and shooty. Alright. How we doing now? We ready to do the fail bag? Oh! We did all the songs. You want what? Yeah, and okay. Let's do the fail bag. Give me a second here. Let me shift gears. Oh, by the way, that reminds me. I clicked over to GOG.com to get the dope on this Interstate 76 game. And lo and behold, there's the Eye of the Beholder trilogy for free for the next 15 hours and 50 seconds. You ever play Eye of the Beholder?
No.
It's a little bit, I don't know. We're talking about roots PC gaming, which might be a little bit too old for you. But I love this game, man. Oh my gosh. These dungeon crawly games. I know that we've played a couple that you've kind of been able to mesh with. But this is basically Eye of the Beholder. You have the front view, you got the map, you got these 4 guys here. It's Beholder as in like Dungeons and Dragons. Eye of the Beholder was like the definitive Dungeons and Dragons game of its time. Prior to that game coming out, there were a lot of like, I guess you guys out there know them as the gold box Dungeons and Dragons games. That were like, they had their charm, but they were really overly complex. And they're really only for a hardcore niche type of gamer. Whereas Eye of the Beholder, that game came out on Super Nintendo. That was like, everybody had access to that game. yeah, so there's the trilogy for free. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome indeed. I, of course, paid money for it because I'm an idiot. But I did enjoy it very much. I would also recommend Dungeon Hack, which is essentially Eye of the Beholder, but randomized every time. The Eye of the Beholder meets Rogue. The randomized dungeon crawling game. Good stuff. Another one I've talked about ad nauseum here on the air. All right. With that, boys and girls, let's shift gears and head over to the fail bag. It's just me here. It's just you here. Let's talk. If you want to get in contact with me, you know how to do it. You know how to do it. I'm around.
Well, I'm here.
Yeah, he's here. But apart from that, it's just me and him and you and me and him also.
And me.
Anybody else
and
here?
Me. And me. And you. And you.
And me. And you. Ravenloft. Ravenloft is $3.39. I have this wish listed. Let's take a look, see what Ravenloft looks like, because I've forgotten. Oh, that's old. I love it. Oh, yeah. That's $3.50 on a game I'm going to open one time if I'm lucky. I love it. It looks good, though. This game, I'm looking at the Dungeons & Dragons Ravenloft series on GOG.com, and it looks like a game I would have loved when I still lived at home. It does look good. You know, I have an old laptop, kiddo, way down in the basement, that has a 4:3 ratio monitor, old school type of monitor before everyone was on widescreen, and it has a CD drive. It runs Windows XP, so no Steam, and it can't connect to the Wi-Fi because the wireless card is too old. But a lot of these old CD-based games that I have lying around would be good to use on that machine. Any of these old GOG setups I could put on there, and they would probably feel a lot more natural. Games like this. Games like the Eye of the Beholder trilogy. I'm actually really interested in doing that now. That sounds like it'd be a good time. Coincidentally, that's the laptop that I used way back when I started TCR. Not the first episode, but like the between 1 and maybe 5 or 6 when I was doing episodes with Systems Overload. And we would talk about World of Warcraft and stuff. That was the laptop I would use. I would use that laptop and a little mic, the old Gateway computer mic that used to come with Gateways. This little plastic cream-colored thing with a 3.5 millimeter jack. Good times. Man, that was good times. I held on to the laptop, because if the laptop is still working, I can't bring myself to throw it out. I got a stack of laptops here somewhere. Yeah. Maybe I should fire up my CD-based copy of Europa Universalis 2. I was excited to get that in the mail, and I never played it once. What about these CD games that I got from MagFest? There's a keyboard in the way, so I can't get it. MDK, my German copy of MDK.
Good job, you failed.
I know, I couldn't reach it. My great big fat fingers could not pull the keyboard out of the way. What's over there? Oh, yeah, Hidden and Dangerous.
They've always been fat.
Yeah. Hidden and Dangerous, Civilization 2, MDK, and what is the last one? The H-Zone, the unofficial expansion pack for Hexen and Heretic. Oh, hang on. What do we got? Yes, that is the Sound of Doom. Yes, indeed. So I'm going to finish this recording tomorrow. Or in 2 days, I guess, because I can't record tomorrow. We'll just go ahead and hit stop Rooney on that one. I haven't turned the phantom power on yet. Alright, are we back? I think we might need a little bit more volume. A little bit more. It's now the next evening. Almost 9 o'clock.
So we could record tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I almost didn't make it. So last night, right as we left off, I was talking about using the old laptop to play some of the CD-based games that I have lying around. Not even talking about going out and acquiring more, just looking at some of the ones I have around, and I started to get excited. Ooh, the complete in-box games I have. I still have Trackmania Sunrise up there. It's never been played before. That's another one I could try. But anyway, Be that as it may, we got a fail bag to do. Ah, yes. One other thing that's happened since I recorded last. I actually sat down and played a good bit of Interstate 76. I wanted to try it again because that was the mystery game, and I feel like I kind of unfairly poo-pooed on it. I gotta say, I liked it a lot better than I remembered. I think the mistake I was making was it has what they call a melee mode, which is essentially like the skirmish mode from Vigilante 8. You just click melee, and then you can just kind of do random fighting. And that's usually what I do when I play Interstate 76 in the past. I started playing through the story. Yes, physics are a little on the weak side. Yes, it doesn't feel... I mean, you know, it has a very, very different mechanical feel than the combat racing games of the PS1. But the story, the soundtrack, the cutscenes, the voice acting, all of that is top-notch. Gotta say, I think I might... have to go back and give Interstate 76 another try. All right. So let's jump over to YouTube and read the comments. Okay. I was expecting that to take longer to bring them up. They're still up from yesterday. 4 days ago, 1 week ago. This one here from Desm, I think, was the last one from last week. What, you look like you were getting ready to chime in with something.
Could I do one of them?
Sure, this is my good buddy Sendu. From 4 days ago. This isn't from last week's episode, though. He I think he listened to a couple of old ones.
Always talking about old computers and how much work you've put into them. How does it feel knowing your cell phone outmatches all of them?
That's a good question. I would argue that it's not just a matter of processing power. Compatibility is a real issue. All machines are you know, that have their purpose. So my cell phone does a lot of really cool stuff, but my cell phone cannot play, you know, the games that I can play even on my old computers, man. Just can't do it. So I don't know. Like, I think because of that, I don't have the same, like, feels bad man kind of moment. Like, I think my dad would if he was still around. Having spent thousands and thousands of dollars on an IBM 386 machine when they were new, piecemealing it together because you couldn't just buy a computer off the shelf in those days, and then having a phone for, like, a fraction of the price that can do, like, 1,000 times more. I could see that being a feels bad moment, but I never really looked at it that way. I don't know. Like, I know you're just gagging, but I think there's a really good question in there. He also says, I don't know why you apologize for podcasts being rambly when that's kind of the point. Isn't that kind of the point behind them? Yes, you are right. Very perceptive. All right, the next one is from a spam account. Awesome vid. In your next video, can you describe your greatest life moment? Let's build each other up. I have a greatest life moment for you, actually, Mr. Spam account. A long time ago, I can't remember exactly how old I was. I want to say maybe I was 18. Yeah, so I worked as a prep man for a painting company. Okay, so we would peel wallpaper off of walls, and we would sand them, and we would put primer on them so that the painters could come through and then carefully paint. I was a prep man. As it turns out, the chemicals were making my stomach turn. And we had a big job that we were doing in Washington, D.C. At the time, I would ride the metro in, and we would go to this hotel we were working at, and we had like a couple of the floors shut down so we could do everything we needed to do. It was actually a lot of fun. But because of the chemicals, it was making me fart really badly. But it wasn't just like a regular fart, like, oh man, I had some, greasy food and it's making me fart. It was like, you have got to go to the hospital because it smells like blood is coming out of your bottom. And I was in a packed elevator, and I did that. And it was probably my life's greatest moment. I thought I'd share that with you.
That's pretty great. But I have one question.
What's
Why
that?
would you share that with someone?
Because it was my greatest moment. Were you not listening? I got to experience the crushing the senses of all of the people around me within the safety of the elevator.
So you got to experience 350 decibels of screaming at you?
You know what the best part was? Is I had a respirator at the time because so that I could prep. I can't even remember what we had the respirators for. It's something that they didn't want us to breathe. So like, I should have just like reached down and put the respirator on as I. That's funny. That's good times. Desm 101 writes, 50 minutes and 35 seconds in. I remember seeing the R-Zone in stores and in an occasional ad for it in magazines, but I never had the chance to play one. It was out later than the rest of the Tiger games, so the interest was already going down in LCD games. It's definitely one of the silliest systems ever. I want to pick up a Virtual Boy still, and I even loved it back then, but they have been skyrocketing in price since last year or so. A Tiger game I would like to pick up still is that Deluxe Afterburner. That looks pretty darn cool. Yeah, man. R-Zone definitely came out at the end of the lifespan of Tiger Electronic games. Tiger Electronic games were always poor man's video games, weren't they? I mean, I got to be honest. I remember like when my older sister got one in 1988. It's like one of the earliest things I can remember. That's 1988. Okay, so that was prior to Game Boy, I guess, and thus you could argue that it would have been like a top-notch game at the time. But I don't really, my cognitive memory, I don't really ever remember it being that way, where Tiger Electronic games were the best. Yeah, but I did get the chance to play in R-Zone, and it was exactly what you think it is. I liked it. It was fun. If you ever get the chance to play one, I mean, it's a neat little toy. It really is. It's the only Tiger Electronic game that has a controller, right? Like a separate controller unit, as opposed to it all being enclosed in a encapsulated thing. Now, I'm not familiar with the Deluxe Afterburner, so we're going to try and look that up now. Give me a second here. Tiger Electronic Afterburner. Alright, we're looking on DuckDuckGo, image safe, image search. Woo, that is big. Oh my gosh, look at that. Alright, to give it some context, kiddo, Afterburner was a game from Sega back in the day. In the arcades, it had like a great big like cabinet that you would sit in, and you could. It was like a flight sim, like one of the early flight sims where you could like get in and feel like you were really flying a plane. So it would make sense, I guess, that the home version was enormous as well. I'm seeing them like half and half. There's one that's like the Tiger Electronic games I'm familiar with, and then there's this one big sort of gray thing that has a protruding joystick. Afterburner arcade. Stick with me for a second, man. The reason why I'm taking the time to look this up, kiddo, is because, yeah, see, look at that. That was the Afterburner arcade cabinet. That's fine. You can go. All right, well, he's stepping out, but to put it in perspective, Desm, when I think back to the few arcade memories, real arcade memories that I have, specifically going to that mall an hour away with my folks, where we had a second-run theater across from the arcade, and there was a food court. Afterburner was there at that arcade. I don't remember ever playing it, but I remember it being super popular. Everybody was around the Afterburner cab. That was a hot ticket, man. So that's cool. I dig that Tiger Electronic game. It looks really neat. Was that it? Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, Virtual Boy would be really cool, man. It kind of burns me because I remember being around when those games were getting dumped at Toys R Us, like complete in box, brand new, off the shelf, $20. I remember this, and my buddy Albert got it, and I was like, dude, what are you? You're wasting your money. He's like, nah, man. He knew something I didn't know. Yeah. So there you go. Hope your life is good, brother. Good to hear from you. Sendu as well. Hope you're doing well. Hope you guys are staying safe. Alex Swingle says, and he quotes me here, there were different branches to take, so I played it twice. Spoken like a true wonder child. I'm glad you're able to travel back in time. Thanks, man, even though I know you're taking a dig at me. I'll tell you this much. I didn't just stop there. He's referring to, of course, when I played Saints Row 3 twice all the way through. I started playing it a third time. Why not? I actually stopped playing Saints Row 4 and then went back to Saints Row 3 and started playing it a third time. I did it for a couple of reasons, because the sessions were shorter, and I was playing it at a time in which I was having audio issues, so I wanted to play where I could only half pay attention. When I play Saints Row 4, that's still the new one, so I want to give that game my full attention. Also, I'm like achievement hunting, which is dumb because there's broken achievements in Saints Row 3 on Steam. But I wanted to do all the minigames. I might not get all the achievements in Steam, but I want a save file that has the game finished that says 100%. That's what I want. Okay? If I can do that, I'll feel like I've 100% of the game. Because I never 100% games. It just doesn't happen. Did you guys see The Sims 4 came out on Steam just this past week? Sims 4 came out on Steam, and the reception is not good. People are not happy about it. I went to the forums and I see a lot of people saying, "Hey man," one guy said, "Oh man, I should have brought this up so I could read it on the air." But one guy said, "I bought this on Origin. I'd been playing it, and so I linked. I bought it on Steam, thinking I could link it to Origin and get all my DLC for free, because The Sims 4 is a huge DLC trap. You know, $40 DLC and then like 10 of those plus. Not only did it not work." The guy's DLC did not pull over from Origin, which, you know, is what it is. So he tried to refund the Steam version, since, you know, hey, this isn't going to work, I'm not going to play it, let's just go ahead and refund it. It also, since he had to link his Steam version with his Origin account, it also removed the game from his Origin account, the game that he had paid money for previously. So when he refunded his Steam version, he lost both copies. That is horrific. I won't be buying that game on Steam. To be fair, that's not the only reason why. I've had it on Origin forever, and I played it like maybe once or twice. But buyer beware. If you're a big, you know, if you're big into the Sims games, that's a thing. They have some growing pains. Now, I would argue that he could probably get that fixed by reaching out to the right help desk for support. But that's still like a sucky thing that he's going through. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm still glad that Origin. I'm not glad that Origin failed. I'm glad that EA is playing ball with Steam again. That's a nice thing. But, you know, whatever. Eric Controller says, "Great episode, man. Unsure where the intro went, but I'm sure it was just taking a break on this one. Did I not put the intro in? I'll have to go back and check it out." CF looks up things on eBay made me laugh out loud in my office today. Great content. Thanks so much, man. You're on the spot about those Vigilante 8 games. My buddy and I used to play it play it on the PS back in the day, and we get a huge kick out of destroying everything in the environment. At the time, the destructible environments were quite a novelty, and as a kid who grew up loving Godzilla movies, being able to cause mayhem on the environment scratched my childhood itch so good. Yes, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because I had forgotten about that. You couldn't really do it the same way in Twisted Metal 2. Twisted Metal 2 had like a few things that would break, but not in the same way. Like, you could level buildings in Vigilante 8. Oh, such a good game, man. Such a good game. Interstate 76 is better than I gave it credit for, but not nearly as good as Vigilante 8. Oh my goodness. So much better. We need to get a new Vigilante 8 game. Come on now. Good to hear from you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Staying safe. Playing video games. Alex Swingle. Got another one from Swingle. Says, at 9 minutes in, all of the Heroes of Might and Magic games sucked. I've been using some... I feel like this is not necessarily the opinions of CF for this podcast. All of the Heroes of Might and Magic games sucked. I've seen some LPs from friends around the Mondo around Versed. It is a terrible experience. I like the King's Bounty version more because you could free roam between fights. In Heroes of Might and Magic, you had to pre-plan all of your actions with a lot of random chance. You would need to be drunk or an idiot to think that was fun. You're also being silly about that free Hitman game. I agree the old ones were incredibly stiff and aren't worth playing. But they changed the... Read more. They changed the formula for the later games. With Absolution and Beyond, they changed Hitman to play more like Batman games, giving you superpowers like being able to see through walls and stuff. It's actually worth checking out. Alright. You've convinced me. I've always kind of thought that the Hitman must have had something that I just didn't get in on. Because people talk about, specifically, what is it, Blood Money? People say Blood Money was really good, and I never played that one. I remember playing Hitman 2 on the PS2. That was when I first got to try the series. And I remember thinking that it was a cool game that I just had too much trouble figuring out how to play. Like, the controls at the time were too weird for me. I'll have to go back and play some of the later games. I've got some of them in my Steam account. And I did get that game off of GOG, by the way, because they were offering it for free. I'm not going to say no. Let's talk about Heroes of Might and Magic, because I think you're selling it short. You've got something about King's Bounty, okay? I'll give you that. King's Bounty is an awesome game, and the free roaming versus the movement points that you have in Heroes of Might and Magic. Okay, I'll give you that as well. But one of the first games that I bought off of GOG was Heroes of Might and Magic 3, and I didn't get it because I was attached to the series somehow. I actually got it because a friend of mine, the guy you guys know as Systems Overload, had Heroes of Might and Magic 3 on his computer many years ago, and he showed it to me, and that was my introduction. So I thought, hey man, I've got a laptop. Let me get this DRM free copy of Heroes of Might and Magic 3. We'll go down to Panera. You and I can sit. We'll get a coffee, right, where we can refill it. We don't need to use their Wi-Fi. I'll just fire up my GOG copy of Heroes 3 on my laptop in a booth, and you and I will play some local multiplayer of Heroes 3 right there in Panera. We got to do that like twice. And that is one of those types of scenarios that cements a game, positively for me. Yes, the Heroes of Might and Magic games have issues. I don't think it's fair to say they all sucked. I just disagree with you. They got a lot. They're not designed to be quick and friendly games. Not at all. Yeah, but the issues with dealing with the overworld, I feel like there's other games that work the same way. Right? What is it? I can't think of the name. Age of Wonders. Yeah, there it is. Age of Wonders works the same way. Wasn't there another game off of GOG that I knew that also worked the same way that you were down with? I want to say Lords of Magic. I don't know if that was it or not. I'm going to look it up now. Lords of the Realm 2? Was that it? Nah. Master of Magic? I don't know. I'll never remember now. It's gone in the cracks of time. Oh, wait. I got child mode on. That's why it's not coming up. Hang on a second. Let's turn the child lock off. Lords of the Black Sun? Lords of the Realm 2? Golly. I give up. I don't know. Maybe it was Lords of Magic. Let me see a screenshot from Lords of Magic. Yeah, it was. Lords of Magic. Wow, that was a fun game. It kind of had to work the same way. Except the battles is reversed, right? You had real-time battles, but then you had this sort of like step-by-step movement on the map. Whereas Age of Wonders had, King's Bounty had step-by-step movement in the battles, but real-time map movement. So, yeah, I guess those two games partner each other very well. Yeah, I don't know. I think you're wrong about that one. I think you raise a good point. I think Kings of Bounty is a brilliant game, but I think you're wrong. Let me know why you think I'm wrong, because I'd be interested to hear about it. Hope you're doing well. It's good to hear from you, brother. Hope you're staying safe. Hope you're feeling healthy. Hope you're eating tons of yogurt and cottage cheese. Hope you're playing Atari 2600. Hope you're watching the Weather Channel. Hope you got a fresh box of crayons. And all that other stuff. Mechamanus. Woo! Got a good one from Mechamanus. Look at all this. A lot of stuff there. Clear my throat for this one. Mecha Menace writes, which graphics card are you looking for? I have a place I go to that regularly sells graphics cards for $20 or $25. Sometimes they get more recent stuff in stock, all used. I got my NVIDIA 750 Ti there maybe last June, I think. I never tried running GTA 5 with it. Maybe the houses and shoeboxes would be shoeboxes as well. I normally run PC games at 720. I look for short boards with smaller cards due to running a shuttle. The larger cards come in more frequently, though the latest gear is something I rarely see. All right, quick break from the comment because I got a lot of stuff here I want to talk about graphics cards for a minute. Just a second. So, Mecha Menace, I run a GTX 750 Ti. Sounds like just like yourself. Now, I don't remember the specs on it because I know not all graphics cards are created equal. Actually, I haven't done this in a long time, but DX Diag. This should give me the specs, right? I put this computer together a couple of years back. I don't remember the fine grain statistics on some of these things. Display 1. GeForce GTX 750 Ti. Come on, give me the numbers. Approximate total memory, 6,000 megabytes. Display memory, 2,000 megabytes. Shared memory, 4,000 megabytes. Yep, there you go. That's it. And that thing was like, I don't know, $125 or something. That's probably a lot less now. So if you got yourself a GTX 750 Ti for $20 or $25, good for you, man. Hang on a second. It's okay. Bless you. Heck of a card. Heck of a card. It's the issues with it have been very few. Like, there's a lot of games that I have to play in like medium quality or whatever. But it's been a great card. It's been stable. There are very few things where it's like I just can't play it because of the card. I came close with Resident Evil 6 because when I tried to play Resident Evil 6, it was it was stable, but it was using so much. It was drawing so much power from the power source in order to run it. It was causing the power surge to trip. So I would try and play Resident Evil 6 with Alex Swingle, and then the surge protector would start going beep, beep, beep. It was awful. I'm glad Swingle was on and knew how those things worked, so he could tell me what was happening with it. Because I gotta be honest, I freaked out a little bit. But let's get back to the comment. I'm glad YouTube isn't just shadow banning comments for me. I have to log into YouTube Studio and click comments to see most of my comments. They aren't notifying me by email for the majority. Eventually there will be a bell for comments next to the box you check to specify notifications to be sent to email when someone leaves a comment. I'd like YouTube to stop breaking community features. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. One thing YouTube does not want is us communicating with each other. YouTube wants it to be in charge. Oh, that's help. I got to go. We'll read the rest of the comment tomorrow. I hope I can remember to pick it up where I left off. Mecha Menace, hope you're doing good, brother.
I hope that's alright. I don't think the levels have changed. It's now 2 days later. This is Monday morning, 5:48 a.m. This is when TCR is usually going up, but I was not able to sit down and actually finish the show for the last couple days. So, I think we were on the last comment from Mecha Menace. We'll go ahead and finish reading it off here and put a cap on things. We're already after an hour, so I feel like we did okay. Alright, let me stop eating on the air. That's one of the golden rules you're not supposed to do when doing a podcast is eat on the air. What can I say? It's early. So Mecha Menace was talking about, let's see, he had a big comment here. I wish YouTube would stop breaking community features. I think that was the last thing we read off. I never thought of the R-Zone as a Virtual Boy knockoff. I thought of it as a cartridge-based Tiger LCD device. I did have an interest every time I passed it on the shelf at Walmart. That thought was probably influenced by the previous Tiger electronic purchases where I felt entertained enough that I saw Saturn games like Virtua Fighter, Panzer Dragoon, Knights, and Area 51 for the Zone. I never tried one, but I probably would have instantly been disappointed. Probably. I had the same thought about Gamecom. I thought it was cool tech, and I wanted to try one. There was a Sonic game, right? We already had a Game Boy, so the marketing worked on some level, though not enough to pay the price for one. Some of the stills made me think it might have been good. Now I realize that the marketing campaign heavily relied on a lights out port. That's true. Quick break from the comment. I forgot about the Gamecom. That was Tiger Electronic, wasn't it? Yeah. Alright, let's see what else he's got. The last truly new Tiger game I got was Sonic 3D Blast, and boy was I disappointed. No, wait, maybe it was Tiger Stick's shark game. Either way, by then I realized I had better things to play and buy or request from my parents. Yeah, I agree. By the way, you referred to one, but there are a couple of different tabletop versions of Warzone. There is one that is a wide grip like the original GBA, and the other is like a Coleco tabletop. Remember, Tiger eventually made the Furby, the game that plays you, or maybe it was an early social experiment on how humans perceive AI. Obviously, Furby is a very limited AI rule set. Something on my screen there. Hang on. Following up on last week's comments, I still can't find Run and Jump Tiger Electronics. Maybe you can find it again. Link it. Here's links to the squash, football, and baseball Tiger LCDs. Now hang on a second, boys and girls, because I want to actually open this up. Yeah. Are you sure you want to leave YouTube? Yes, I'm sure. Oh my gosh. Alright, yep, that's the shape. I'm looking at the football one right now. That is definitely the shape. I didn't know they sold Tiger Electronic games on Etsy. That's funny. Baseball. Yep. Definitely the shape. Hold on a second. Handheld, run, and jump. We're gonna try it here. We're gonna see if I can link our old boy. No, it's certainly not on eBay. I didn't see it on eBay before. I saw it on Google image search. Let me try it one more time. Head over to Google. Tiger Electronic Run and Jump. There we go. And we'll go to images. Yeah, there it is. Oh, it is on eBay. No. What the heck? I saw it. I saw the picture, but it was like a Google image search picture. When I clicked on it, it took me to eBay, but it took me to like a completely different product on eBay, which was very weird. So I can see it. I can see the old game in the Google image search, like search results. That's the place I've seen it. But you can't actually click on it, because when you click on it to try and blow the thumbnail up, then it takes you somewhere else. Hang on a second, I'm gonna try this one more time. Yeah, if you click on it, it takes you to Loot and Run, which is a board game. Hilarious. Oh well. I don't know. Mecha Menace, if you want to take a look, I would say head over to Google image search, put in Tiger Electronic Run and Jump, and it's on the first page. It's an eBay link. It's like a cell phone picture. It doesn't look great, but you can see a picture of it, which will prove it does exist. At least, at least I can prove I don't have schizophrenia. At least not yet. So it does exist.
Alright, now I'm getting sucked into the Google image search rabbit hole of Tiger Electronic Games. And when I'm half awake like this, certain rabbit holes I just can't get out of. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this for now. Let's get back to the comment here. Hang on a second. Oh, this is awful. Oh yeah, here we go. Alright. We made it. Back to the comment. Do not get Kirby Tilt and Tumble. The box art is good, the graphics are good, but it is a bad, bad, bad game. I love Kirby, but it's too hard to play. It's like that wooden labyrinth game, but worse, since you have to flip the screen, which makes you lose sight of Kirby. Also, the price shot up since the global situation started. It used to be around $10 loose on eBay. People just love burning through their $1,200. Yeah, but you know what? Everyone's going to run out of their $1,200 before too long. So, excuse me, I think some of those prices are going to normalize. Some of those prices are going to normalize. Thank you for the heads up that it's not worth it. I definitely will not get it. What are you going to do, man? I think I knew somebody in my science class who had it. Which is why I considered I had considered getting it. Oh yeah, you know what? There is one more comment. This is from KT Johnson. Good old Chuck Johnson. How you doing, brother? He leaves a time signature of 15 minutes and 50 seconds in, and he says fortified zone, title screen, area 1, ending. It's from Jaleco. Yeah, you're right. You're right, absolutely right. Fortified zone. I don't know why I thought of it as an SNK game. I think just because of the anime sort of art style, like authentic anime art style, reminded me a lot of SNK's work. But yeah, you're right. It's a good track, good game. Give me a second here. I think that is it. Did I miss anything? No. Whoa, oh wait, I have one message that's likely spam. Yep, Togo says awesome content, keep it up, bro. Yeah, that's probably spam. That's okay. Alright, boys and girls. It's almost 6 o'clock. I'm exhausted. I gotta get this posted on the internet somehow. Thanks for hanging out, talking about video games. I don't have the time to wrap the show the way I normally do, so just take care of yourselves. I hope you guys are doing okay. Don't lose hope. Don't let them get you down. You'll be fine. Keep at it. I'll see you next week.